I'm Sitati Kituyi. I'm the co-founder of Hodi. Hodi is a platform that aims to help Kenyan talent work as sales reps for US and European B2B companies. So we're using tech to make it possible for B2B sales to be done remotely by talent based here in Kenya. So this is my second experience of entrepreneurship. The first one was a really fun journey, but we never got as far as creating jobs for people. And so far on Hodi, we've created 6 jobs. And that's really exciting. It's really rewarding to have people join the team, come with new ideas, and we're predominantly dealing with young talent just straight out of university. It's really, really energizing to have people like that on the team. What I wish I knew is basics of human psychology. One of the things that you struggle with day to day, my co-founder is really good at noticing these patterns, is that losses sting a lot more than wins win, if you see what I mean. So say you have a week where you have 5 pieces of bad news and 3 pieces of good news. From the inside, that feels like a very strenuous, very stressful week. From the outside, your company has probably grown. Like those 3 wins, you have to take many bets as a founder, and not all of them are going to land. The toughest learning I've had in entrepreneurship, it's one of those things which, you know how wisdom is usually obvious. Like you just needed someone to say it and then it becomes very obvious. For me, it's the one, everyone says this, but for some reason I thought we were different. Don't count an investment as done until the money hits the account, because it's quite a grueling thing emotionally. Secondly, just always have contingency. Like whenever you think you're 3 months from revenue, make sure you have money for noodles for at least 8 months. Like plan for worst case scenario. Don't just plan for the happy path. That's a weird thing. Like maybe that's obvious to most people, but founders have to outwardly speak about the happiest path, while internally also be planning for the worst case scenario. And so there's that balancing act you have to do, and be transparent to people who need to hear the transparency. Like I think that employees, for example, need to be aware, like when you're hiring your first employees, if you only have runway to be paying them for a few months, be transparent with that and let people make their own educated decisions about their risk appetite. While when you're pitching to like an investor, of course, there you have to put the other foot forward and talk about what is possible, not what could go wrong. But this is also one of the most exciting things you can do in your career. I remember the first time someone bought a photo from African Stock Photo. I remember the first time a client booked a meeting with Hodi. That feeling that you've built something and created value and someone has actually recognized that and paid you for it, nothing compares to that. Even though we were talking peanuts, like the photo was $20, our first meeting earned us like $100. It's nothing big, but the validation or the excitement you get out of that moment can't be compared to any paycheck from a day job. So it's worth it. I definitely feel like even the failed startups, it's an experience that you can't get anywhere else other than just diving into it. I don't feel any shame about having started and failed, and I don't feel I will have many failures in the future as well, I'm sure. Hopefully not the one I'm working on at the moment. But yes, it's one of the challenges of starting a startup, is that some people will hear you talking this big picture and then hold you to account, so to speak, when it doesn't pull off. But I think we've moved quite well as an industry in terms of having these conversations, talking more about the learnings, like what can we do to avoid the same thing, or how could people have enabled this to go differently. Personally, I don't feel that the stigma is as strong as it is, but maybe that's also the experience of having been through it once and having been through the failure, dealt with it. This was a few years ago, so I don't really feel too heavily burdened by that.